Hello everybody, my name is Lakin and welcome to Shonen This Week, the show where we rank all of the manga that came out this week, including some that aren't in Shonen Jump. I'm a liar, I confess, but these are basically just all of the manga I personally keep up with every week. If you have any recommendations for what I should read next, feel free to drop them down below because I will take them, I promise. Okay, now first, let's talk about what we're not going to be ranking this week, which is Gachiakuta. Now, Kei Urana, I love you. I really do. You're writing a really good story, okay? It's a great story, but you gotta move to bi-weekly. You should move to bi-weekly. I really think you should, because it basically is just bi-weekly at this point. Gachiakuta is not a weekly manga. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. It isn't. It hasn't been for like a long time. Maybe sometimes you happen to get chapters 2 weeks in a row, but like, Urana, stop doing this, please. It's not weekly. Move to bi-weekly for your own sake and for your own health, please. Now, we're going to do right to left because this seems like the most interesting order to me. We're going to start with Underdoctor, which is basically just a slice of life chapter. We find out that Haiji can cook, which I guess based on what we know about him, makes a lot of sense. He's a doctor. He cares about nutrition. He basically just feeds everybody, including the new guy who I can't remember. But this chapter, I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was good, but just nothing really plot relevant happens. I understand that that's not what Underdoctor is about per se, but given the fact that we were actually introduced to a sort of plot last time, was it last chapter? I just feel like I would have expected a bit more from this, but I understand this was crucial character setting up for the cameraman, and he's going to be very important going forward. So for that reason, I give this chapter a B tier. It's just simply not as good compared to some of the other chapters this week. Once again, I'll remind you, we're comparing these chapters against each other rather than against their whole body of work. So next we're going to move on to Sakamoto Days, which... oh man, if you're active in the community, you've seen a lot of discourse about this one. I will say, I'm not that mad, and I'll explain why. So what happens in this chapter is it turns out Gaku is alive. Now, I am one of the people, I believe he was supposed to be dead. I don't think it was like particularly ambiguous, but at the same time, he wasn't like dead enough. You know, he didn't get like the death thing that every character in the series has gotten, and I feel like it was possible that he was intended to be brought back. I saw a lot of people comparing this to Nobara. Don't even fuck around, okay? The Nobara thing, she was literally brought back in the last 5 chapters just to ass pull the main villain. It's not even comparable, okay? The Gaku thing is still stupid, but do not compare this to Nobara. That was just some actual genuine dog shit writing. Gaku I find believable, and I'll tell you why I'm slightly happy about this. Because last week, I was complaining that it seems like Shin's final fight of the manga was going to be against Tanabata. Because what the fuck is that? Like, who the hell even is that guy with the guitar? You know what I'm saying? Seems like now, maybe, he fights Gaku. Maybe? I don't know, but it also seems like Gaku's out to get Uzuki. I don't know what is going to happen here. It just feels like fan service, really. You know, now, the more I think about it, I'm going to move it down to B tier, okay? Are we cool? Are we cool? In fact, it was probably worse than Underdoctor. It just keeps moving down the more I think about it. But, I don't know. Like, I feel like this isn't... It depends on where the writing goes from here. But this isn't terrible. Like, it could work. But I just don't feel like there's enough manga left to have this work. You know what I mean? Now, let's talk about Kinato's magic. Now, this went exactly where I was expecting it to. Kinato's showing off. Jian's showing off. Everybody's showing off. And there's a traitor, so this is actually getting interesting. We're about to see the chief fight the traitor. I can already predict where this is gonna go. Kinato's trying to escape these accusations. The traitor's gonna fight the chief. The chief is probably gonna get beat up. Kinato's gonna come in, beat her up. Or a farm, okay? I thought this was a pretty good chapter. It was probably better than Sakamoto Days. I don't hate Kinato's magic. I might even put this in A tier. I thought a lot happened in this chapter. And now, I should say, because we're releasing this on Monday, I have great news. It's the fact that we're actually in time for Mad Monday, which is pretty huge. This was an S tier chapter, straight up. Yeazer has been defeated. His final words to Alda were great. It turns out he was a fan of him during his gladiator days. Ponyo shows up to save both of them. Just, mwah. If Ponyo's in it and she's got her ass cheeks out, I'm giving this chapter S tier. I don't even have to say anything more about that. Now, let's talk about Ichi the Witch, which is also S tier. In fact, I'd put it better than Mad. You have this, like, gangster-ass witch showing up. She saves everybody. Discaris comes back, attacks Fujimine, and then Fujimine tries to kill Ichi because she finds out about the master bond, which is going to have some pretty big consequences later on, I would assume, if she can relay this information anyway. But we find out that Ichi's death for death also works on his friends, because she tries to kill him and he just straight up stabs the bitch. I've got no complaints about this chapter. This shit was absolutely peak. And another absolutely peak chapter, Centuria. Man, Julian is going to fucking town on these goons and just like literally aura farming all over them. I felt the aura coming inside of me, okay? That's all I have to say about that. So much aura farmed in this chapter. It's literally just a fight chapter. Like, there's no lore here, but, you know, Centuria fights are always great, and it seems like we're about to see Lucas fight next time as well. So I'm very, very excited and looking forward to that. Now, this One Piece chapter I thought was pretty basic, literally right until the very end when it got extremely compelling. I would say it, of course, goes above Kinato's magic. It seems like this Brook flashback is about to wrap up. Maybe I could see Oda stretching this for another chapter or two, tops. So we find out about how Candel died. The world government invades Asperia, right? And the princess is turned against them, kills her own father. Brook witnesses all of this. This is absolutely crazy, and the rivalry and just the dimensions this is going to add to Brook and Gunko in the present is absolutely insane. Although I still feel like this flashback is sort of misplaced. I see where Oda's going with this, and I see the vision now, and it just adds some really interesting layers to it. It's really, really, really breaking it up, but I don't know. It's good. Like I said, I thought this was a really good chapter. I wouldn't put it S tier by any means, but this is great. Now, let's talk about Kagurabachi, which you all know is my favorite. I'm always a little bit biased, but I really, really love what this chapter does for Akimura. I love it. The fact that, you know, Hokuzono's venturing into this dangerous territory where he's really making us understand where he's coming from. Akimura training, going from this helpless boy to this literal Hitler equivalent to protect his sister. And, you know, that's something all human beings can understand, you know, wanting to kind of fix your own helplessness in the face of this grand enemy. And it makes me really, really excited to see the moment where he's about to go full demon mode with that sword. And, of course, it adds extra layers to Kunishige as well, because obviously you understand why Kunishige would have given him that sword. In fact, Kunishige might have been partially on board with what he did, but if Akimura comes to him and he goes, please give me the sword, I'm goated with the blade and I want to save my sister, and Kunishige goes, well, I also want to save your sister, here, have this sword, you know? It makes sense. The way this is building up, it makes sense based on everything we've seen so far. This is just some more absolutely masterful writing by Hokuzono, and we are about to see the Enchanted Blades forged next time. I'm very, very excited. I'm very excited. So pray it's not going to be another break week. But that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, you know, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below. The video on Gachiakuta, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm working on it. It's edited. I'm editing it, and it's all recorded and everything. Like, it exists. It's in existence now, and it's being worked on. I'm not going to give you any dates because I'm bad with those, but it'll be out, and know that I am working on it. That's all I have to say. So I love y'all. Thank you very much for tuning in as always, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.